Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is What's My Legal Rights? Hurry back and join us. Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is What's My Legal Rights? And we have with us Judge Cylenthia L Miller of 36th District Court. Good morning, Judge Miller.
Good morning.
Well, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm just so glad to have you here.
And
first.
I'm so glad to be
here. Okay. We got that out. Now, Judge Miller, what we do here on this segment is we always have one segment called What's My Legal Rights, where we interview a lawyer or a judge, and today you're in the cool seat, not the hot seat, the cool seat. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you reside over in your chambers?
Be happy to do that. I've been at the 36th District Court. Actually, April 10th will be 12 years for me. Okay. I was originally appointed in 2006, and I've been reelected 3 times since then. So I've been very blessed and fortunate to have that opportunity to serve the community in this way. I'm currently sitting on the landlord-tenant docket, and on the landlord-tenant docket, I hear disputes both on commercial properties as well as residential properties. But I have, over the years that I've been on the court, served on all of the court's dockets: traffic cases, felony cases, small claims cases, civil cases, landlord-tenant, everything that we do there at 36th District Court. I've done it.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So, ideally, can you give us a little bit of information on what happens when a person, or how should a person prepare to come to your chambers when they're in front of you?
Right. So when people are going to come into the courtroom or the court building period, it's very important for them to come prepared. What we see a lot of, and almost on every docket, is you say to someone, they say, well, I have this, I paid that, I did this, and you say, do you have any proof of that? Oh, I left it at home. And and you think, you've got to bring it with you. You've got to make absolutely certain that you come to court prepared. Also, that they dress appropriately. We have a dress code at the court, and most of the courts have a dress code. So you can't wear shorts and halter tops. And we've even had a lady come in a swimsuit and a cover-up that you can see straight through.
Oh my goodness.
So you have to dress. I tell people, dress like you're going to church or a business interview, and then you'll be all right. And we understand also that some people don't have the means to necessarily dress in a suit, but don't come in with a gangster shirt on, that says I'm the #1 person in the whatever, and different things that we've seen over time, or with, what we call booty shorts or Daisy Dukes. We've seen that. I mean, you can't come into the courtroom like that.
So people, in general, when someone sees this show, they're going to be surprised that you mentioned all that, and I'm surprised that they come like that, but people just get up and get dressed. So you're not saying come to court in your Sunday best, but you're saying come appropriate. You can wear jeans.
Right. You can wear jeans. You can wear a nice T-shirt that's, doesn't say anything crazy.
Right.
But, we've had people come in there with T-shirts with guns and dope and money and, all kinds of different things like that. Most people come appropriate. It's not like it's all the time. But, I have literally had, when I said Daisy Dukes, I literally had a young lady come to my courtroom, and with every step that she took with her rear going like this, and the cheeks, and it was like, now, young lady, you got to leave.
I was about to say, I was going to ask you, do you have to have a person leave, or do you just go ahead and reside anyway? So what do you?
Yes, it depends on the judge. It's a discretionary decision for us to make. For me, I'm very cognizant that people have maybe caught a bus or gotten an Uber or begged a friend to bring them, or walked, or different things, or even if they drove themselves, they had to pay a lot to park and things like that. So I usually, unless it's just over the top, I'll go ahead and hear it, and then I will talk to them afterwards and say, now listen, you can't do this anymore. Make certain you come appropriately the next time. Other judges will send people home and tell them, if you're not back by the time I finish this morning docket, I'm going to put a warrant out. So it really, you know, it depends on the judge.
But when you say you come in there, in particular for landlord and tenant right issues, you would think that the person who has the dispute against the landlord would come appropriate, because they're already upset that this landlord may have taken their money for whatever reason, or didn't do the repairs to the homes or something, and I paid my rent and the person has lost the house. Is those the kind of issues that you actually have to address?
Absolutely. Every day. I've been on the landlord-tenant docket. Actually, next month will be 3 years for me on this docket. And I have seen and heard it all. And you know, a lot of people talk about the tenants' rights, but we also have to keep in mind the landlords have rights. And I've seen really bad situations both ways, where the landlords are kind of getting the short end of the stick, or when the tenant is. And I could give you a litany of examples.
Well, you know, my thing is like a person with a disability that's in a home that's not modified for them. But yet the landlord say, well, I'm going to, you know, get a ramp here for you, or I'm going to widen the door. And yet this person is living in a very, you know, uncomfortable setting. Do they have the rights to speak to the landlord and say, you know what, I've been here for 2 or 3 years. I am a wheelchair user, or I'm, you know, a stroke survivor, and I cannot get down these stairs.
Right. There are different guidelines for people who own private residential houses for rent versus people who live in, let's say, a high rise or some type of community, like a condominium community or something like that, where there may be low rises, but it's a whole group of them. Those folks are under a different set of circumstances, and they have to comply with federal regulations and do certain things to make accommodations, and they should. And I say that as someone who has a permanent disability myself. But then you have, for the private residences, a different type of standard, and they don't necessarily have to do those kinds of things in terms of accommodations, because it's not a public accommodation or something of that nature. Should they, if they can? Absolutely. But we don't really see that very often. I think in the time I've been there 12 years, I've never had a case come up regarding an accomodation or a lack of an accommodation. So that's good. You know,
well, that is good. It's questionable. I'm waiting after today.
Right.
Because, you know, really, when people, like I was telling a friend of mine, his daughter was living in a lady's home and it had an electrical fire. And the young lady just moved out, you know, didn't ask any question. I said, well, if it's electrical fire, that means that it's the landlord's responsibility to refund her money or whatever, or be responsible for her items, because it was an electrical fire. There's nothing you can do about it.
This is a very, very important point, Marsha. A lot of people don't understand what we're looking at as judges is this home fit and habitable for the use intended? That's the actual legal language. So if you're coming into my courtroom and you're saying, they won't paint the walls and they painted them right before I moved in and I hate that color, well, that's an aesthetics issue. That doesn't affect your ability to live in the home. But if they come in my courtroom and they say, Judge, they've got leaking pipes, they've got mice in the house, they've got bed bugs in the house, they've got, you know, light fixtures that won't work, the electrical socket, if you plug something in, it blows out all the other sockets. Those are things that affect your ability to live there in peace, you know, and they affect the fitness and habitability of the home. When that happens, then we get on those landlords.
Now let me ask you this, because I know we're getting ready to go to a break, but say, is it good for a landlord to take pictures of the property vacant before they move a tenant in, and then if the tenant should happen to be one that messes the property up, they have the before and the after pictures? Does that support the landlord?
Yes,
and vice versa?
And vice versa. So when I go out and speak to groups in the community, I tell them, if you're a landlord, you take before pictures and you take after pictures, and you inspect your property at least once a quarter. You give 48 hours written notice to your tenant, I would like to come and conduct an inspection on such and such date and time. And once you have confirmed that with them, then you go and you do your inspection and you make certain that your property is being maintained. I've had landlords that didn't go to their property for 2 or 3 years, and then they're wondering at the end of it, why is this all torn up, this torn up, that torn up? And it wasn't like that allegedly at the beginning. So if you have pictures that show us, or video that show us those things, you have have to put it on a disk or thumb drive and bring it to the court because we can't allow you to bring your cell phone in.
Okay.
But just like the landlord should do that, Marsha, the tenant should too. Absolutely.
Okay.
And when I tell folks, when I conclude my cases in my courtroom, I tell them you both have the right to do an inspection, a final inspection. You walk through the house together. You're looking for excess damage. Normal wear and tear happens. The carpet will get a little dirty. You might get some smudges on the wall. That's normal wear and tear. But if I punch a big hole in the wall, or I've burned the carpet, or I took out the light fixtures, I removed the appliances that were there when I came to the home, that is something totally different. And then the person can put themselves in a position of getting sued later.
See there? Now, you know all that's being said, somebody's going to be calling. Okay, I tell you what, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back with some more good information from Judge Miller. We'll be right back.
Do you know what this is? This is a life-saving tool, a gun safety lock. Over the years, I have reported stories on many accidental shootings simply because a gun was not properly locked. Invest in a gun lock. Support Project Child Safe and get a free gun lock from your local police departments. Let's protect our children and community. Let's invest in safety.
Until all our daughters are safe. Until all our children have families. Until all our families have homes. Until all our parents are cared for. We'll be here.
And welcome back to the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just not joining us, you better get your ink pens out because Judge Miller has a website or some information that you're going to need. So we're going to go back to some important questions. You know, now, first of all, we talked about landlord and tenants' rights, okay? But then I also heard her tell me a little earlier something about driver's responsibility. So we're going to go to that because I know a lot of people are so concerned in the state of Michigan. Why are they still paying driver's responsibility fees if it's supposed to have been taken off the docket? So can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Happy to do so. I've worked with this issue the whole time I've been on the bench. It was one of the first seminars I did in the community. A colleague called me up and said, go talk to these folks about driver responsibility fees, and I didn't even know what they were. I was new to the court and didn't have any familiarity. But it's been a long road, but I'm happy to report they're almost gone. This September, the two bills that have passed the House and the Senate in the state of Michigan, the bills have been, they're on the governor's desk. It's understood that he will be signing them. And they are going to eliminate the driver responsibility fees effective September 30th of this year.
Of 2018.
Of 2018, which is actually going to be a year earlier than it would have been for the new fees. And for all the people who already have fees that they're trying to struggle and pay, they will be completely forgiven as of September 30th. And the only thing they'll have to pay is the $125 Secretary of State reinstatement fee to get their licenses back.
But question, if you're already in it, and then it's supposed to be considered waived by time
it will be waived as of September 30th.
But you're paying it now.
Yes.
All the way up until September when it's announced.
Right, and that's been one of the concerns that some folks have had. You know, well, the people who are paying right now just stop paying and wait till September and go get their license, which hypothetically they could do. But there'll be other people who will keep paying because if you're on the payment plan, there are some benefits to being on that payment plan that allow you to get your license early.
And there's some penalties too. If you stop paying it right in the middle, it's some penalties
They'll
there.
resuspend your license.
Right. So even though we're having this conversation about it, that it will be, waived or withdrawn by September, I would highly recommend pay the bill, people. Pay the bill. Okay. Because really, the recourse is that, well, she said, maybe I don't have to pay it because here it is. It's the summer. I only got 3 or 4 months to wait. But I wouldn't do that to myself because you don't know that there is a penalty for you missing those months without good cause.
That's right. If you miss your payment plan payments, they will automatically resuspend your license.
See there?
Which then costs the person another $125 for the license reinstatement, and then maybe even a clearance fee of $45. I mean, you just start making your deck higher and harder to deal with.
Just pay it.
Yes.
I know somebody say, well, why should you say do and don't do? But really, just pay it until the issue is cleared.
Right. Or if you can't afford to pay it, because I literally, I've had seniors in my courtroom who had $10,000 in driver responsibility fees because, you know, and young people who've had $15,000 and $20,000 in driver responsibility fees, and they're just captured. They can't get out of this hole that they're in because they don't have the resources. So if you don't have the resources and you don't have any way to make any payments and you're not on a payment plan already, come September 30th, that will be the hallelujah moment.
But question
because it'll be forgiven.
if you're not able to make those payments and it is that enormous amount, shouldn't you speak up and see a representative or go to the courts or something and let them know that Your Honor, I'm really I'm a low income individual? I mean, is there anything, or they just
there's nothing they can do. The courts, and I want to make this very, very clear. This is so vital, and I can't stress it enough. The courts have zero to do with the assessment of driver responsibility fees. And I'm on the board of directors for the Michigan District Judges Association. We have fought against this through educating the legislators in Lansing about the problems with these fees. Because let me quickly, if you come in my courtroom, Marcia, and you say, Cylenthia, or not, you know, Judge Miller, I have a limited source of income, and I don't have any way to pay my fees. Can you give me some community service, or can you stretch this out, give me some time to pay? I can work with you. I can waive some things. I can reduce some things. I can give you more time to pay. I can let you sign up for our payment plan with 25% down. But I do all of that, but depending upon your charge or the number of points you have, that driver responsibility fee is going to kick in. They're going to send you a bill from Lansing regardless of what I gave you. So it kind of undermines the judge's discretion. And basically whatever breaks I gave you just went out the window because they're going to send you a bill for whatever the driver responsibility fee is. And it could be as much as $1,000.
That is a hard pill to swallow. I mean, I don't even know when they created that monster, but you know, it's been around for a while.
2003 or 2, I believe, was where it started. And we have now followed suit with Virginia, who did it. They did it, and within a year, they killed it. Now I think Texas and a couple of other states still have them.
You're already stressing the person out. I can't get my license now. I really can't get my license. I paid the bill, but now I got responsibility.
And then you're going to keep getting more tickets because you're going to drive, because you got to get to work, to school, get your kids to do whatever you got to do. And you keep driving, you keep getting stopped, you get suspended license, you get arrested. It just is a horrible, and it really was a very bad tax upon poor people and people who just were disenfranchised already.
Exactly. But you know what? Now I got to ask you, what is Street Outreach Court in Detroit?
Absolutely happy to talk to you about that. Street Outreach Court Detroit is a program that I'm so happy that I was one of the people to help to found at our court. It is a program that is targeting homeless persons in the city of Detroit and the surrounding area who have tickets pending at the 36th District Court and or at the Detroit Municipal Parking Department. And what they're able to do is to come in to one of our partner agencies, and we work with Capuchin Soup Kitchen, St. Leo Soup Kitchen, and others, Neighborhood Legal Services, Volunteers of America, Southwest Economic Solutions. We work with them, and they then assign the person a case manager. They develop a 90-day action plan. So whatever the person walks in with, so I walk in, I'm drug addicted, I'm separated from my children as a result of my addiction. I've been homeless now for the last 10 years during my addiction, and I never graduated from high schools, and I don't have a GED, and I don't have a job. So those are my problems, right? And so then they develop an action plan specifically for me with my problems that says, okay, we're going to hit all these things. We're going to send you here. We're going to send you there. We're going to put you with this program. We're going to get you in that. And at the end of 90 days, if I've satisfied everything, so I'm clean and sober, I'm now in a GED program or some other training program. I have been working or on in the process of being returned to being able to be a mom again to my children. I am now in stable housing, and I have some source of stable income. I've met the things that I was supposed to do. So it's a step
program.
Right. It basically is a surround program that we surround them with every possible thing that they need. And what they get in exchange for completing our program is every single ticket at our court is wiped out.
You know what?
And
if that's not a miracle on 47th Street, 42nd Street.
Yes. And so what happens is they only will end up owing the state portion of any of their license clearance fees, and that's $30. But we've got people that'll start with owing $3,000. We also have people that only have one ticket and only owe like $120. Wow. So we have people in between, and we've seen people, Marsha, from every walk of life. A woman who was a victim of domestic violence walked out of her house with what she had on her and nothing else, keys, and ended up living in her car until the car got repoed, and then ended up in a shelter. Wow. And was in a master's program, had to drop out. Now she's finished that, she's got her license again, she's doing great. We had a young man who was in a foster care program, and he was 18 years old, aged out, had nowhere to go, no family, no friends, ended up on the street sleeping. He's now a truck driver. We have tremendous success stories.
I don't mean to cut you up, but I don't think people really know how many wonderful things go along within the judicial system. You know,
right.
Especially as you all are judges, you have ideals and concepts that you want to help our people, the people of Detroit and beyond.
Right.
I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break.
Absolutely.
I hate to do it to you, ladies and gentlemen, but get your pen and paper out. We got a website for you. We'll be right back.
Mental health disorders are serious and treatable conditions. Isolation, loneliness, and changes in behavior could be signs that someone you know is suffering from depression. Learn how to recognize when family or friends are in crisis and what you can do to help. Mental health does matter. Contact the Resource and Crisis Helpline with your concerns at 1-800-231-1127.
And welcome back to the last half of the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am enjoying myself today with Judge Cylenthia L Miller of 36th District Court. She has given us a wealth of information. And of course, she has a website, because somebody at home saying, I need some more information, and how can I find out about that? Well, we're going to give you some website information and ask a couple of more questions. But always keep in mind, you can always give us a call here at 1-800-323-5336, Twitter, Facebook, #Marsha. All at the bottom of the screen, okay? And if you have a question in reference to the courts, send us an email and we'll definitely get it over to the judge of your choice so that you can be prepared when you go to their chambers, all right? So, ladies and gentlemen, now I want to say, Judge Miller, I know you got a website, because all this wealth of information just can't be, bestowed upon you by yourself. So is there a website?
Definitely. There's a few that I want to give. One is for the Street Outreach Court Detroit program. And the visionaries for this were Street Democracy and Detroit Action Commonwealth. And their website is www.streetdemocracy, all spelled out, .org/SOCD. That's for Street Outreach Court Detroit. The website for the driver responsibility fee, so you'll know a little bit more about it, that it kicks in with one of two ways, either with points or because you have committed a certain offense like drunk driving. That is michigan.gov/driver responsibility, all spelled out, and you'll get there. And then the last one I want to share with everybody, because there's a wealth of information out here that people just don't know is out here, and it's called milegalhelp.org. And milegalhelp.org has expungement self-help kits. It has divorce self-help kits. Okay. So if you can't afford it and you don't know what to do, it will literally just let you answer yes, no, whatever. Okay. The answers, fill in some blanks, and it'll print out everything you need to go to court.
That expungement is a hot topic. Ooh. So, give us a few hot topics that's on the table that you guys go over.
One of the things that I get asked a lot is, what do I do if I have warrants? Can I just walk in? Okay. And yes is the answer. You can walk into the 36th District Court. You will not be arrested. You can walk in, find out what tickets you have pending. You can also go to our website, 3636thdistrictcourt.org. You can read, you can look your name up in the case lookup, and it'll allow you to look up and see what cases you have. And you can actually come in. It's done by alphabetical order. It's on the court's website. 1 p.m. is the check-in time at the info desk in the first floor, on the first floor of the building. And then they start the docket at 1:30. You can walk in if you have warrants. You can walk in if you just have civil infractions, like speeding tickets.
I don't think people know that. Really.
They don't.
They're so afraid to go. They say, man, if I go there, they're going to arrest me.
Right.
So after today, I hope you hear this. You can walk in and you won't get arrested. But that's kind of fearful, though, because they're still not sure.
It is. I mean, and here's the thing. At the end of the day, we want people to come and resolve their tickets.
Right.
And I think that people have a perception of judges as we just want to be the gotcha people and we want to lock you up and throw you away. And don't get me wrong, there are judges that are like that, of course. But in the city of Detroit, our court has been very innovative under Chief Judge Nancy Blount's leadership. She has brought on that walk-in program. You know, we have our veterans court that's been there for some time.
Really?
We do work with our veterans. We have one of the best sobriety courts in the nation that was led for years by Judge Leonia Lloyd. She retired a couple years ago, and now we have Judge Shannon Holmes over that program, and she's also with the veterans court.
Would you tell them we need to see them?
Yeah, I'll definitely make sure they come on your show.
You know, the veteran courts, I mean, the veterans are out there, you know, like nobody cares, you know,
think that.
I don't have anywhere to go. And the veterans,
we are there.
Their services are so well, you know, needed that they are afraid or don't know.
Yes.
They don't know.
We want people to come in. We want people to come and take care of their tickets and stop driving dirty. Don't have warrants and think there's no help out there. And I want to make certain that people know that they can reach me. You can reach out to me. I cannot give legal advice. No judge can give you legal advice.
That's good.
I can answer general questions, but not about your specific case. So you can't do that. But I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Social. I share carry pigeons and kites.
Well, you know,
I'm on everything.
I wonder,
under Cylenthia L.
people always feel like, you know, when they go to the courts, they're intimidated, so they don't see this kindness that you're offering. Really, they don't see it.
Right.
So, you know, if you go on their Facebook page, you probably will. But I'm just saying, if your person is intimidated when they come because of the black robe, because of the crowd and everything,
and we're sitting up high.
Right. And what you're saying today will ease the mind and make the person more comfortable in, you know, coming to the courthouse. And I hope that people will write to us, you know, or give us a call and tell us, you know what, this was a good court experience. Now, before we wrap up, I had a question about what other specialty programs you guys are working with?
Well, we have, in addition to street court, veterans court, and our sobriety court, and we have a specialized docket that's a business docket that it deals with the cases that a lot of the businesses get for tickets for like blight tickets and things of that nature, or other commercial-based issues that they're getting, like over the weight on truck drivers and things of that nature. We also have a specialized docket for domestic violence cases. So one of our presiding judge over the Traffic and Ordinance Division, Lanice Bryant Weeks, presides over that docket. Does a great job with those cases, and that's a very vital docket because we do have, unfortunately, a lot of domestic violence cases. And a lot of people think it's just the men attacking women, but no, we have women who beat up the men too. So, you know, and she sees those cases, and so we have a lot of different things to offer to people, and that's really what I wanted to be able to convey, that don't be afraid, please come in, and we'll be there to help.
Right, and that's what the courthouse is for, but everybody got the misconception. But can I get those websites from you one more time?
I'll be happy to give them to you again. streetdemocracy.org/SOCD, that's for Street Outreach Court Detroit, the homeless program. We also have the 36districtcourt.org, and then you can read about all the different programs that we have at the court. You can also visit milegalhelp.org for information on how do I get an expungement? What do I do if I'm the landlord with this? What do I do if I'm the tenant? How can I get a divorce? And all of that's free, and it's out there for you to take advantage of, so please do.
Okay, will you come back and see us again?
Anytime.
Okay. I loved it. I really enjoyed having you here today, and you gave a wealth of information, and our viewers are going to definitely respond. I know they are.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, and thank you to your audience.
Okay, thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but as I always tell you, I learn something every time someone comes. And today, Judge Miller just, you know, she just opened up the floodgates for us. So definitely check out the website, email, Twitter, hashtag, all that good stuff, and send me a question to give to her if you have a question for Judge Miller. All right. Other than that, when you go to her chambers, you should be ready to know. You know, when you go to her courthouse, you'll be ready, dress appropriately, and all the other good stuff. Okay. I'm your host, Marsha Florence, for Just Ask. And what do I always say? If you have a question about a person with a disability, or if you just have a general question, don't be afraid to ask. Just ask. I'm your host. Thank you.